All right, Renata. So let me just introduce you a little bit to the audience here.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who don't know, Renata Rivera is a well of many things. She's one of the things she is, of course, a mom, an amazing wife, and also a DōTERRA wellness advocate who recently achieved the rank of what's called founder. Now, for those of you who don't know founder, you don't have to know what that is, but I can tell you that it's not easy. It is grueling. You have to really intensely focus and grow your business in a very short amount of time, very fast. And the way Eric Worre describes it is it's like a shuttle taking off and trying to give everything it's got to get out of Earth's orbit. And once it gets out of the atmosphere, if you will, not the orbit, the atmosphere, then there's the thing that we're told with network marketing is then it becomes easier and more manageable after you've blasted through. So you're now on that place of I've just blasted through. And if you could talk a little bit about what was that like, that push, and then we're going to talk a little bit about obviously your story and who you are and where you come from. I kind of want to start from there though, if you don't mind.
Well, for me, going for founders was really intense. Um, and I had to want to do it. It wasn't something like, I'm going to try it. It was like either I'm in or I'm not. There was no halfway there. You know what I'm saying? So, in December of last year, I was at about, so, for those obviously that are not familiar with the program, I had to get to 1,000 points in order to be part of the founders. And I was at them in December of last year, I was at 600 points. So I still had another 400 points to earn. And it was not easy, because those are the last 400 points that I had to get by doing specific things within the company. Uh, like, for example, helping my team rank advance, and those were the hardest points to get. So in December, I was at about 600 points. And I was like, there's no way I can do this by August. It's just too hard. I'm going to have to get so many people, to rank up. And in January, I went to Hawaii for the sourcing trip of the company. And I got to speak with other people that were also trying to earn founders. And and every single one of them, they were like full throttle invested in this, and they were trying to get the points. And every single person that I said, oh, I have 600 points, but I'm not sure, they would, all of them were like, what? You have 600 points? You're not going to push it? What are you doing? Like, some of them had less points than me, and they were pushing it. So I sat down with a few people that could give me advice on what to do. And from that moment on, I pushed. And I knew exactly where I needed to focus on my organization, where I needed volume, where I needed new leaders to rank up. And I focused on that. So, in a sense, I kind of neglected a little bit of my organization that didn't need help at that moment. And I focused on just the people that needed help. And in 5 months, I was able to reach not only the founder's position, but I also reached diamond ranking within the company.
So can you do me a quick favor? Can you turn off your mic and then turn it back on again? It's clicking a little bit on our end. I'm not sure if you're hearing it. Just turn it off and back on again. It should be fine. Okay, so thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so this is some of the things that a lot of people don't understand. They all they see is like DōTERRA, for example, putting a post and saying, congratulations to our newest founder 2.0, right? But when I see those, I know, because that's what we did. We grinded to get to Blue Diamond. We grinded hard. And I know that not everything goes the way you think it's going to go, right? And
Yeah.
Especially it's heartbreaking when you're focusing all your time and grinding and pushing, but there's a lot of people that don't have that same kind of energy. And they're more of the I need my hand held. They're more of the I need to check in with you consistently in order to keep going. And sometimes in those situations, we don't want to ignore people, but we're kind of like in go mode. We're trying to achieve this thing. And now DōTERRA doesn't offer the founder 2.0 position anymore. That's it. It's gone. Now now it's gone. But what's great is that now you can go back and you can talk to those people. So before we kind of get into who you are a little bit, if you don't mind, what is your what does your business look like? And I want everybody to understand this because this is how the reality is. What does your business look like from a standpoint of this is what Renata needs to do to keep this, you know, this thing going? Because I know one of your biggest focuses is making a difference in people's lives.
Mhm.
So I kind of want to get an idea. What's your focus for your business right now?
Well, my focus right now is to just keep going. I feel like, I've been with the company for 6 years now, I want to say. And the times that I have um, taken breaks, I should say, because you do get tired. Thankfully, we get to take breaks, right? In this kind of job. Because if I was working for somebody else and I came to my boss and said, hey, I need a 2 weeks break because I'm burned out. My boss would look at me and go, I don't think so unless you don't want to get paid. Well, I get to take breaks when I get tired and I still get paid, right? Maybe a little bit less because I didn't grind as much. I didn't bring new customers, but I still get paid. I'm still active. So my focus from now on, for the new year 2024 is just to keep going. I'm looking for new builders. I'm looking for people that want to walk this journey with me. And that's basically where I stand right now. And the way I lead is very much I meet you where you are. I'm not a pushy leader. You're never going to see me telling my downlines, you must bring this many customers or you must enroll this many customers a month. I never push. I think everybody has their own way of working, and it might be different than me, and most likely it will be different than me. I wish I could get, 10 more of me in my organization, but it doesn't happen in the real world. So I want to lead by example. I want my organization, my downlines to know that I got here because I worked hard to get here, and it is possible, and sometimes we do compare because it's a network marketing company. We think, oh, only the people on the top will make money, but in reality, I was able to get to the top, and I keep climbing. So it's not the kind of company that if you invest time and you invest um, uh, what you can in the company for you to grow, there is an opportunity there for you to grow too. It's not just the people on the top. And that's the one thing that I like about doTERRA is that everybody has an opportunity, but you have to work to get to the place that you want to get. It's not easy, right? If we say it's easy, we're lying. It's not easy. It takes work. It takes a lot of hours and it takes an investment. But once you get there, you know and the goal changes a little bit. Like now, for example, I'm in a different mode of more leading and helping my leaders grow, not so much grow my organization, but helping my leaders grow. So it kind of changes a bit once you start getting a little bit higher ranking, because now you have a lot of leaders that you need to um, lead. And in the beginning, when you start the company, you just want to grow. You want to grow your clientele. You want to grow your sales. And then once you start getting people in your organization that want to do the same thing as you, now you got to lead and you got to help them grow. So
Um, so good. I'm glad you're speaking so much truth here that a lot of people don't quite know. In particular, this belief that you grow a network marketing business and then you just chill.
yeah.
Right? Because there's a lot of that, especially on Instagram. Like I see it on Instagram a lot. People selling the idea that, like I saw this one gal, she's not talking about network marketing, but she's talking about the dream of, I went shopping with my child and I looked at my phone and $10,000 made its way into my bank account. Like, I just want everybody to know that that's not exactly the way it looks on our end. It's much different. There is a lot
Mhm.
of work on the other end. And so what I want to do is just kind of help people understand that we don't do this business so that we don't have to do this business. We do this business because we love doing this business and we're successful at it because we love doing it. And after what we would label as success comes, we just want to do more of it. and we just want to figure out ways to do it better. Never in my entire life of building a business did I ever think, I can't wait to get to the point where I don't have to do this anymore. Do you ever feel like that? Like I actually want to keep doing this. I just want to do it better.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Especially this kind of job. I can do it from anywhere in the world. So it doesn't keep me from traveling, which is what I love doing, you know. And it just right now that I have a teenager and a 10-year-old boy, I get to be a mom too and be home with them. So I just want to keep doing this. You know, I don't
Okay.
want to stop.
So where do you remember a time when you were younger when you first got the idea, or ever did you ever do you remember a time when you first got the idea that you would run your own business, be your own boss, right? Because I know that you obviously worked for other people in the years, but
Mhm.
I kind of want to know when did the idea of being your own boss ever just kind of come into your own consciousness?
I think it just happened. My parents were always business owners. I
Mhm.
came from a restaurant family. My parents had restaurants all my childhood, so that's all I lived was my parents being their own boss. When we moved to the United States, which was almost 24 years ago from Brazil, my dad had to be a busboy, and that was the worst. I mean, he was everything. He was in construction. He was a busboy. My mom did cleaning, whatever we needed, whatever we needed to do to survive, you know, in a new country. So for them, it was really hard having to answer to a boss, and it was so hard for my dad that he couldn't stay here. After I got married, he went back to Brazil and opened his businesses. He has a few different businesses. So I've grown up in a family of entrepreneurs. But then when I came to the United States, it's just so easy. I mean, you know, my first job was at McDonald's. I remember to this day every single detail of it. And I've always worked for other people. And my job prior to having my daughter was I was an office manager for a commodity trading company, and I got paid really, really well. And then in 2009, when my daughter was born, I got laid off. And then from that moment on, and then my husband later got laid off after 10 years working at Coca-Cola. So after that moment, we were like, we gotta have to figure this out. So I started doing everything I could at that point because we needed to pay our rent. We didn't have money at the time. I don't even know why I'm going into this, but just so you understand where this whole entrepreneurship came from. And I started selling cheesecake. I would make cheesecake at home and just sell it to my friends because we needed to buy food. We needed to pay the rent. And that was 2009, you know, and then years went by. Obviously, we got out of that situation, and my husband became a police officer. And then it was time for me to, now I have to go find a job because now everything's back to normal. Now I can actually get a job. And I became a real estate agent, and my kids were small, and it was perfect because then I could make my own schedule, I could do my own thing. But I never felt, even though I make good money with real estate, and I made good money with real estate, it was never fulfilling for me. It was not a mission. I didn't have, obviously I love getting that paycheck, but there was no pleasure in doing the business for me, right? So yes, I do it for the money. The money is amazing, but I didn't feel like there was a mission for me there. And then doTERRA came about. I actually got a gift. I got a kit as a gift. And I loved it. And then I realized that I could use it on my family for therapeutical reasons, you know, different things. And I started using it on my family, and it started working. I'm like, what is this thing? I mean, this natural thing that works. And then I saw an opportunity to make an income because I had so much joy telling people what that was doing for my family. You know how much we were being benefited by the power of the essential oils, and then people just started wanting to buy, and I would just refer them to my friend, and then my friend was like, "No, why don't you become a wellness advocate and just make some extra money?" I'm like, "Sure." So my goal was at that moment, I said, I can make $1,000. All I want, $1,000. And I don't need any more than that. I can just keep doing what I'm doing. And then $1,000 came, and I'm like, that wasn't so hard. I think I can make 2,000. So then that's how, you know, now I'm here.
That's so good. Because I would obviously I would it would be my dream to have you on my front line, right? So let's help the people watching this. How does one enroll someone like you? And what I'm hearing you say is, appeal to what I want right now. Because I think a lot of people are kind of going about finding, we'll say builders, right? People like you, I think they're going about it the wrong way. And instead, it's like they're either looking for high level people or they're looking for people who are bored and have nothing to do. What I'm hearing you say is you were busy.
Mhm.
You were very busy. You had a lot going on. And I'm willing to bet you weren't looking for an income opportunity. So when you said your friend, right? Your friend, we'll just say this. How did your friend get it right? The one that shared oils with you, even if you can kind of walk us through, how did your friend get it right with you? And how can we utilize that to find more wonderful, amazing people like you to bring to this world?
So my friend, I had at that time, I started an Instagram and I had a good amount of following. So she gave me the kit and with the intention of, hey, can you just talk to your following of the oils and then they can buy it from me. Like she never pushed me, she never asked me nothing. And but she didn't even ask me to talk about it on my Instagram, but I was just gonna do it because she was my friend, and I was like, oh, I'll just speak about it. But honestly, the she gave it to me. I kind of showed it, hey, I got a gift, look, and then I kind of showed it. I remember I dumped a bunch of lavender in the diffuser, and it was just like all I needed was like 4 drops, and I'm like, you know, and from that point on, I just the oils kind of I didn't do anything with it. I didn't understand, I couldn't understand why there was such thing as oregano essential oil. I was like, this thing stinks. Why would people diffuse oregano? But then later I understand, okay, oregano is a lot more than it's not a diffusing essential oils, although it can be for those that like it, but there's a lot more within oregano that we can possibly imagine. And the power of oregano. And then I remember I took my daughter to the doctor because she was diagnosed with attention deficit. And the doctor wanted to give her medication right away. And I think she was 8 years old at the time. And I was like, no, I'm not going to give her medication for the rest of her life. So I went home and I started doing research, like natural solutions for attention deficit. And then one of the solutions was essential oils. And I'm like, oh, I have this thing. So I called my friend. She never insisted. She never asked me nothing. I called her and said, hey, the oils that I have at home, can I do anything for attention deficit? She's like, oh, yeah, you can do this, 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 and that. And then that was the moment that I was like, wow, natural solutions really work. Like, I can do things with essential oils, I can do things with plants. And that was the open door for me to discover this different holistic world. And then from that point on, everything changed in our lives. And then we started changing everything in our home, toxic overload, water, food, organic, the kind of meat that we eat. It just kind of opened a huge door for us and our health. And going back to your question, how do you find people like me? I don't know if there is a secret sauce for that. I honestly think we need to, if you're looking for builders, you need to find people that are influencers, not necessarily digital influencers, but people that like to talk, people that, like to be in network groups, people that when you go to wherever you usually go to a coffee shop, or in my case, I'm really big with the Brazilian community in my area, but like people that always go to the Brazilian events, and just start observing people that are talkative influencers, and those are the people that you want to target. And sometimes they're not looking for an extra income, but they might like the product, and they might not be a builder for you, but they will be your greatest selling, like, seller, like someone that is just gonna speak about it and bring you customers.
Well, how much do you love it when people give you free stuff to just try out? Look at you.
I love it. I love freebies.
I know. So, like, to me, that should be one of the biggest things that everybody takes away from this. People love free stuff. I love free stuff, right? And you know, it's funny, people don't really send me a lot of stuff to try out. Like, this Be Connected platform was the first time where I was like there were several people sharing this with me saying, "Eddie, you should try this out, check it out and talk about it." And I'm in love with it. But this is a really powerful strategy to find. You said find someone who is influential, not necessarily on digital, although digital helps, right?
Mm-hmm,
Like, I'm
mm-hmm,
looking at your Instagram, you've got like 56,000 followers, right? Obviously there's something. And then say, hey, I would love it if you would try this. I'll give this to you for free. This is what it does. And I would just ask you to try it. And if you like it, share it. If
mm-hmm,
you don't, that's cool. Enjoy it, that kind of thing. I think that's a fabulous strategy, especially for someone like you said, who loves or enjoys, you can tell they enjoy getting in front of people,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
right? I think this is one of the things that you and I both have in common. We have no problem speaking in front of lots of people.
Yep.
It's actually more fun. So, speaking of which, is it okay if we talk about your strengths a little bit?
Sure.
Okay, so I got your, I'm looking at your strengths report. All right, who are my, hey, my strengths friends that are out there watching this, comment below, or therefore if you're watching this recording. So, by the way, you sent me your top 5. Do you have your full 34 report?
No, I
No.
only did the
Okay,
top five.
we'll fix that. Okay, but let's take a look
Okay.
at the top 5. So we have significance at number 1. So everybody needs to know that significance is a strength, is shows that Renata has a desire to literally make a difference in the world. And the difference in Renata's world is the difference between her ears, that world, the difference between, like, in her family's world, the difference in her community, and of course her business. But Renata, is that true? Is that really you?
Yeah. That's why I love doTERRA so much. And real estate wasn't, I could make a lot of money with real estate, but there was no significance there for me.
There it is. Okay. So when you're looking at people, y'all, if you're looking for someone who has significance as a high strength, they're not sitting around watching TV. They're doing many things, and they can always handle more if they have a personal, like, if they can see it's going to make a difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of times we don't want to offer things like that to people like you because we think maybe you're too busy already doing enough, right? And for you, that's never true, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. This is leading my your next strength, which is maximizer. Okay. So my
Mm.
strengths friends right now are going, oh, okay. So maximizer, people of high maximizer hate talking about what's broken. They don't want to talk about what's not working. They want to talk about what is working and how do we make it better. And making it better never ends. But is that true? Is that true for you?
Yes. I'm always trying. Yeah. I don't like talking about, for me, it's what's done, it's done. I don't
What's done
like,
is done. Yeah.
it's done. Yes. Yes. Like if we got it wrong, it's okay. Let's get up. Let's keep going. We'll get it right next time. Yeah.
So when you get your full 34, which you will after today, let me just share this one thing. It's very likely you have a strength called context very low. Now, people that are high in context love to talk about the past. Okay. Did you just feel like in your body, you're like, oh my gosh, that's so not me?
That's not me.
Yes, right. So why is this valuable information for you? So when you open up your full 34 report, you've already taken the assessment. You don't have to take it again. But when you open up your full 34, if you look down there and you see context low, you can literally tell people, don't come to me with the past. I don't have to talk about the past, right? This
Mm-hmm.
this helps you understand the value of significance and maximizer. But let's go on. We're going to go on to your next strength, which is communication. So, what is communication? Communication as a strength means that people that are high in communication love to tell stories, love to share information in a way that inspires people energetically, and typically like to use their hands when they talk. Is that true?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, what do you love about a good story?
Yes, you're right.
Look at
When I'm
you.
talking, not necessarily I use my, like, but when I'm presenting, yes, I use my hands a lot.
So, what do you love about sharing a good, inspiring story? And now, the reason why I'm asking you this is because I'm willing to bet that one of your tools to influence or inspire other people to want to be a part of what you do is you shared stories with them about how you got introduced to the products, why
Mm-hmm.
you decided to do this as a business, and so on. Why is that something you did?
Oh, absolutely. I do it to this day. I feel like people, especially in the network marketing business, I don't think people want to buy the product, especially doTERRA. You don't have to sell doTERRA products, right? If you sell your story. So if people, if, and I tell my team all the time, your vibe will attract your tribe because we all sell the same lavender. So why would people buy lavender from me and not from you? Or why would people buy lavender from you or not from me? Because maybe I have a good sleep story that I can tell them that happened to me and my family and how we sleep so well. Or maybe you have a good acne story that you can talk about how lavender helped you with your acne. And that person might not be looking for a sleep story. They might be looking for an acne story. And then they're going to buy the lavender from you, not from me. Right. So, yes, I always tell my team, you got to be able to share your experiences. If you have no experiences to share, the good thing is, personally, for me and my team, we have a group where people share experiences, ask questions. So sometimes I might not have experience with a certain situation, but I know someone in the group that has shared an experience. So I can tell that new person their story, and many times I have connected people like, hey, I know you struggle with that, with that issue in your back. Let me get you connected with this one person because she also got into an accident and she's struggling with her back too. And then I get them connected and then they talk about what works for them. And then that's, I like that. Yeah, for sure.
So we're also sharing with people that it's important to have groups, which is kind of interesting. It goes into your next strength, which is a ranger. It's groups of people together sharing their stories. Now, people that are high in a ranger that also have this many influencing strengths in their top five, at least, um, don't arrange information as much as they arrange stories and people that the vibe, or like you said, your vibe attracts your tribe. It's almost like you are good at arranging a
Mhm.
tribe that vibes. Is that true?
Yes, I like arranging in all sorts of things. In my group that I started from zero, my clients group, my customer group, and all of my leaders have customers in the same group. I also love arranging people, like connecting people with each other, arranging everybody to come to convention together, arranging, like, yes, that's me.
And what's great what we're doing here, Renata, is we're helping people understand that they don't need to be you to have your success.
Hmm.
But at the same time, like I'm just loving listening to you, like looking at you shine and glow when you talk about like this is who I am, this is what I love to be. And that's why I love doing what I do so much. So for those of you who haven't taken your strengths assessment, please take it and I'll happily help you how to use it. Last strength, and we're going to wrap up our conversation because I know we got to get going soon, is relator. Now, for those, everybody needs to understand relator. Okay. Now, a lot of times people look at the word relator and they think, oh, she likes to relate to people. Wrong. What Renata loves to do is build a very tight knit, small, tight group that is all built on trust and loyalty. And people have to earn their way into that, what I call the relator circle. And so relators keep a very close circle of like the most trusted friends. In other words, those are the people that really know who you really are. The rest of the world that you're trying to be significance and communication and maximizer with, they get one side of you. But the ones that are in that circle, they get all dimensions. Is that true though? Am I
Yeah.
making that up or is that real?
No, it's so true. Yes, I do have my some, like, for example, in my business, because I'm with doTERRA, I do have certain people in my team that are more that are closer to me, and I get to share a little bit more. I do have other doTERRA sisters that I call them my doTERRA sisters that are some of my very close friends that we talk, and sometimes I need to vent, and they're just the people that I sometimes share with. But as far as my own little friendship group, I'm also it's I'm really easy to make friends. I can make friends wherever I go, but then I do have my close group,
Okay.
and then when someone new comes in, it takes a while. Like,
It
I'm
takes a
not
while.
just like, yeah,
Yes.
like, obviously I'm very friendly, but
It takes a while. And
if
we want
my
people to
friends watch
know,
this, they would be like, yep, that's Renata.
and sometimes people with high relator get a bad rap. They sometimes get labeled as the mean girl at the cool table, but it's not that.
Yeah.
It's that people that are high in relator, and I am positive context is low for you, but people that are high relators have been burned. They've been hurt by people that they've let in too quickly. And so it's energizing to keep the circle small and separate,
Hmm.
right? Now, it doesn't mean that they don't interact, but it just means you got to really earn your way in. And to me, what's powerful about that is that when you're in Renata's circle, for those of you that are, I know it's not a lot, but if you're in Renata's circle, then you can count on that person answering the phone at 3 in the morning if you need her.
Yeah.
And if she needs to get in a plane and fly out to you because you need her that bad, she will find a way to do it. And that's the massive value of a relator circle. Very powerful. Okay, so let's wrap up. And what I want everybody to know is, first, everybody's watching this. If you're watching this live or you're watching this comments, please give Renata some love. Let her know. Thank you. How she shared some great stuff. I got one more question for you.
Yeah.
But before I give you that question, I want everybody to know, once we're done, and once you got to go, I know you got to go. There's a few things I'd like to share with the audience afterwards to help them out, to kind of help them stay on track, grow the business that you want to grow, and be the good person you want to be. So stay on as soon as I'm done with Renata. Now, Renata, here's the last question. I want you to go back to a time when you were really pushing for 2.0. Okay. And you were really pushing. And maybe there were certain moments where you were thinking, I don't know if I can do this. Right. Maybe you had those moments where you just had one of those really hard days. Right. I want everybody to know that's so real and happens a lot. You have these really hard days where you just feel like you're working hard and nothing is going anywhere. You know what that feels like, right?
Hmm.
So I want you to go back to that moment when you felt like that. And now that you're here, now that you've accomplished that and you're moving forward and you're keeping going, if I could get you in a time machine and go back to that moment and go and sit down in front of that Renata who's doubting, I want you to look in her eyes. I want you to look in the camera and imagine you're looking at that Renata. And I want you to tell that Renata what you know now that she needs to hear to get her butt back in gear and do the things she needs to do.
You want to say that to
I
that
want you to
Renata?
look in the camera and tell that Renata, just don't even say Renata, just say, hey, and then say to her what you would say to the audience right now that you would say to her.
Hey, you need to get up and keep going because you have this. And if you put your mind into this, you are going to get what you want.
Okay. That's all she needs to hear. And that's all these wonderful people that are watching right now. That's all they needed to hear. Thank you, Renata, so much for taking the time. I wish we could do this for like hours, but unfortunately,
Yeah.
we're running out of time and you've got a family to attend to. So I'm going to set you free and tell you thank you so much for letting me
Thank
do this with you.
you. Thank you so much.
All right. Okay. Well, Renata, I'm assuming you know how to exit. I hope you do
Yeah.
because I'm not sure how to kick you out or anything. But okay, there you go. Okay, so all right, y'all. What are our takeaways from this? Our big takeaways from this is go talk to people that talk to people. Give them some free stuff. Have them try it out and say, hey, I'm just trying to help people understand this. Would you try it out for free? And if you like it, let me know and share it with the audience. And you don't have to do a business if you don't want. You don't have to enroll people. I'll take care of all that. I just want to share this with the world and you have access to the world. So fabulous takeaway, right? And also getting out in the open and listening to people and looking for people that talk. What I want to share with you all is just a couple of quick things. This platform of Be Connected is really awesome. Nothing is without its glitches, of course. The audio wasn't fabulous with Renata, and I wasn't able to do some of the things that I wanted to do, but I love this so far. And what I'm going to encourage you all to do is to try out some of these features. And you got to get the paid version in order to try out these features.